So we've got the new business and markets. They started Wednesday, the 27th of September. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Frontier Opening Bell. It's a public holiday in Nigeria, by the way, in observance for the Muslims, for the observance of the birthday of a Prophet Muhammad. And so the markets are closed today, but for the second day of the week, the Nigerian market down by 0.34%. Equities were booked down 126.14 billion naira yesterday. The market was down 0.66% on Monday, and that sell-off continues among the big names in the banking sector: GTCO, Access Corp, Zenith Bank, and of course names in the industrial goods space such as Sabua Cement. The BRVM got about 0.5% haircut with big names such as SocGen. So the City General Bank down on the BRVM on Tuesday. The composite was down by 0.52%. The BRVM 30 was down by 0.53%. Egyptian market continued to roll on positive since the start of the week. The central bank left interest rate unchanged, tried to hold an election early. That's what we're getting in the news from President Al-Sisi's team in Cairo. So 0.1% to the upside for the Egyptian 30. Again, there are a couple of news in terms of deepening the market in Egypt. That's also positive for the Egyptian market. Regarding Nairobi stock market, still in the throes of investors selling down 0.1% downside for the NSE All Share Index. And the GSE came back from a Heritage Day national holiday Monday to start on the back foot in 1.02%, pressure piling into the currency to rand in a week that's very heavy with data for Africa's most advanced economy. Let's get onto the East Africa and catch some corporate and economic news by the way. Of course, one of the companies, Kenya's debt interest payments rose about 231.6 billion shillings on the back of the weak currency of the country, largest economy east of the continent. Tanzania, under President Suluhu, is rejigging the country's foreign policy and moving things towards economic diplomacy. And that's what President Suluhu's administration is working on right now, focusing more on economic diplomacy and not simply foreign policy. So that is being worked out. The BOT, which is the Bank of Tanzania, the central bank, is buying gold from miners and traders, all in a bid to shore up the country's foreign reserves. And Uganda's NSSF, which is the Social Security Fund, savers are getting about 10% interest rate. That's about 5% above the country's inflation of about 5%. And the funds piling into that in terms of contribution is increasing. Some good news, by the way, for Uganda. The government could tap into that, well, depending, whatever. So let's get into in Central Africa, which is filing bankruptcy insolvency against the Twiga Foods over 39 million shillings debt. In West Africa, Nigeria, moving on, Olayemi Cardoso has been confirmed as the new governor of the central bank full-time for the next 5 years alongside 4 deputies. He spoke yesterday at the Senate screening late afternoon that is going to focus on transparency, compliance, and the rule of law as the head of the financial regulator. In the meantime, he says Nigeria's economy should hit $1 trillion over the next 8 years. That's us optimism telling the lawmakers at the parliament on Tuesday. In the meantime, Bloomberg Next Africa reported on Tuesday that Tinubu's reforms since he came into office looks a little bit like too fast as far as the current crunching economic situation for the country is concerned. And a new code of conduct for all members of the Nigerian exchange. If you are licensed traders, you have a new code of conduct which will take effect from the 3rd of October. But the nervousness around the market because of the falling value of the naira, which touched 100 on the street against the US dollar, the scarcity, liquidity of the FX in the market, and news that foreign organizations are rejecting Nigeria's letters of credit is getting a lot of investors really worried about what is the state of the fiscal balance of Africa's largest economy. All of that as we go into a holiday this Wednesday. And Eramet in Gabon is looking to produce about 7.5 million tons of manganese for the current year, 2023. Those are some of the economic news out of West Africa and Nigeria. Looking to Southern Africa. Of course, the whole issue about the SDG is there. The Sustainable Development Goals. South Africa, according to news, is likely to miss all but one of those SDG goals, which were set by the National Development Institute of South Africa just about 10 years ago. So we've got in the new week started, we're looking at a couple of data this week out of South Africa, including the Producer Price Inflation Index, but the rand has been weakened because there's a upside to the yield on U.S. treasuries. In Mozambique, Moody's is forecasting 6.7% growth for this Southern African country, 93.3% of debt in 2023. That's according to the latest numbers for outlook from Moody's Investor Service. And Oxford Economics is looking at inflation cooling to 6.5% against 10.3% in 2022. And the Kwacha has dropped, threatening Malawi's inflation, according to the Economic Intelligence Unit. So let's get up and wrap it up in North Africa. Again, the Egyptian stock financial markets is moving on. The central bank is shifting securities secondary market trading to the EGX platform, deepening that. We'll talk about that on Monday, did it to a Tuesday. South Africa, the Egyptian stock market is deepening the level of what is available, liquidity in terms of asset offerings. So you've got to have derivatives and you've got to have treasury bills and all of that in the AGX, so you can get a market that's a whole lot deeper. Morocco's central bank, the Bank Al Maghrib, yesterday held its key interest rate and change at 3%. It looks like a bit of a hold. Nigeria's central bank is expected to hold an interest rate decision, which was deferred this month, perhaps in the first week of October. Egypt's bank's financial position grows to about 445 billion. That's for the banks in the first half, January to June 2023. And Morocco's pharma group, Dislog, got about $37 million from the EBRD, that's European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. And finally, Tunisia is elected to the ISO, International Standard Organization's Council for the 2024-2026 period. And we say congratulations. And that's about it for today on Your Frontier Opening Bell. I am Bosi Lamafai. Do have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you soon.